Welcome to the Studio 25 Podcast Network. This is Steve Cully's Festivus of Sports. Yes, it's the Festivus for the rest of us. And we are celebrating the week of NFL and college football and an unfortunate loss. And with me today, as always, my cohort and co-host, legendary UConn quarterback, Shane Stafford. Shane,
how you doing, man?
Oh, it's so great to see you. So great to see your smiling face.
It is great. I'm trying to get this little background set up, so forgive me.
You got it perfect. You got it perfect.
Yeah.
I got the jersey right there. It's money. Your money. I love it. I love it. That's all we need. I wanted to start out. Our executive producer is David Warner, Creative Outpost. They do a great job with us. We're on the radio and also as a podcast, so we get double duty. You're a big hit in Central New York. The concerning news was we lost Pete Rose yesterday. Very sad. He had just done an autograph signing a few days earlier, and he died at the age of 83. I had watched his Netflix documentary, and he had said, he said, like, you know, they're not going to induct me until I die. And I felt so bad to hear that from him. But for everything that's gone on over the last few decades, it's not that hard to disbelieve. I mean, he's been through so much.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Pete Rose as a player, as being banned from baseball, the acts he allegedly committed? What are your thoughts on him overall?
I'm glad you brought this up, man, because it's definitely necessary. We like to have fun on this show, but at the same time, he deserves the respect of being talked about. This guy, he was known. I grew up about an hour west in Reading, Pennsylvania, Berks County, right outside of Philadelphia. He was an inspiration to a lot of us. What is it? They call him, I think, Charlie Hustle, Johnny Hustle. I forget what it is.
Charlie Hustle, you got it.
All I know is he hustled. He was he was the one guy that truly ran after every ball like it was the last ball he was going to have to go after, or the running around the base like it was the last time he was going to ever have to run around the base. And ironically, he ends up getting screwed at the end. I mean, whatever he did or didn't do, who knows with all that stuff. And how he got in some issues with the betting, but that guy was a true inspiration. The way he played the game, the way he inspired so many people, man. It's a sad day in baseball and sports history in retrospect, and also respect to him.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have their opinions, man, but you have to respect what that guy did for the game. Over 4,100 some hits and setting that major league record. The guy was awesome, man. He was opinionated as all hell. He was a perfect player.
He didn't care. Yeah.
He was perfect for that area. That's why we loved him. We embraced him. Him, Mike Schmidt, all those guys. But
Mike Schmidt, I mean, when he gave his Hall of Fame speech, he said that Pete Rose should be standing beside him, and he was disappointed that he wasn't. Yeah. And to break Ty Cobb's record of 4,000, I think it was 4,129 hits, unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
Truly is, man. I mean, the guy, honestly, and I would say about 100 of those hits were just him hustling to first base and diving head first, giving his whole face into the bag and didn't care. He was one of the first people to truly dive into catchers, and people thought it was dirty, but he was like, I'm just trying to win, kind of a deal. It was a beautiful thing, and I appreciate everything he did for the game, and respect him for how he played, man.
Yeah. It was disappointing because he had an agreement allegedly with the commissioner at the time, Bart Giamatti, that he would be banned for a year and then be reinstated. Bart Giamatti died shortly after. Faye Vincent took over, and Faye Vincent said, no way. Talks began again in 2015 with Rob Manfred, the current MLB commissioner. And I just, man, 30 years, give the guy a break. Like,
seriously,
murderers get out sooner. Like, what the hell? Like, I just,
well, I mean, yeah, it's just not fair. Like, I know they're trying to set a precedent. But ironically, gambling is legal now. It's kind of like the marijuana thing. You get all these guys in jail. Let me be careful. I don't want to make people all upset and whatnot. But, now you smoke weed on the side of the street and you're okay with it, and
smell it everywhere.
30 years ago, you're getting locked up. And so same kind of thing with him and gambling. Now, granted, you should never gamble on your own team, but unless you're gambling that you're going to win.
Which he claims he did, but
yeah,
you never know.
Exactly. But my point is, really, like you're saying, 30 years? Come on, man. Give the man a break.
I mean, if OJ is going to remain in the Hall of Fame, and there's certain particulars that guys have stayed in the Hall of Fame despite doing some dastardly things, that Pete Rose should have had his day in the sun.
And what's his name? USC. Goodness gracious, the running back from USC.
Oh, Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush. Didn't he get his Heisman back?
He got his Heisman back. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing now? Come on, man.
Yeah. He got his Heisman back, and now he's actually suing. He's suing the NCAA for NIL money that he.
And they want to talk about racism.
Yeah. No, I know.
Sorry.
He's suing for money that he believes he could have gotten if NIL deals were in place at the time, because as we know, they're paying back to 2016 to NIL deals, or television money is going back that far. So Reggie Bush, I mean, he was a difference maker, and he played in one of the best national championships ever when it was him in Texas. And
that game was unreal.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And he didn't have the greatest NFL career. He kind of bounced around. He never really found. You never saw him comfortable where he was. Mm-hmm. He had some injury issues and durability issues, but I agree. Giving him the Heisman Trophy back was the right thing to do.
Totally agree.
The money that is being made in college football, it's not just millions, it's billions.
Absolutely.
Billions and billions and billions. And I think it's good that the NCAA is giving it's going to be voted on, but they're going to give the student athletes a portion of the television revenue. I think it's capped at 22 million. But how they're going to sort it out, I have no idea. Right. With Title IX coming into place, because women's tennis doesn't have a $2 billion deal with ESPN. Right. I don't know how they're going to sort it out. They're going to have to spread the wealth amongst everyone. So that's going to be interesting to see. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Just briefly to touch on, our lovely UConn Huskies got another win.
Go get them!
And man, they look good. We had Burton on the show, and Burton raved about everyone. because I mean, he personally was involved in the process of paying and bringing guys in, and that made all the difference. Like, and he said it himself. He's like, I don't need to do this. He's like, I'm busy enough. I have my own business. I have my kids. My son plays at Georgetown. I don't need to get involved in this, but I'm tired of seeing the product on the field the way it is. And I'm not going to sit by and do nothing. And, you know, he learned that, he said, from his father. His father always credited his success in life, in the business world, to his scholarship to Murray State. Being an athlete changed his life. And I think that's so true because of obviously the lessons you learn with discipline, time management, and, you know, being able to work as a team. And he even said that they try to hire athletes. You know, they want athletes before normal students.
Right.
So the win against Buffalo was good. It was tough to see Evers go out again. I was on record. I said I did not like him running the ball, and they run him, but the slide. Burton said they've been trying to teach him to slide headfirst instead of, you know, baseball sliding, because they think
I can't stand the baseball slide. I hate the baseball slide.
You're just vulnerable.
That's how you get concussions.
Yeah.
Here's how I always, when I would slide, if somebody was coming at me and I was running, which far and few in between, but, you know, I was somewhat of an athlete, you know, but I would dive right at the ankles of the person trying to hit me.
Yeah.
Like, no, I wouldn't try and like go and bang them. But if you slide, you're giving your whole upper body and the willingness of that whiplash in your head. That's how I had over 20 concussions, man, is by doing that. It's the whiplash. It's the head hitting the ground. It's not so much head to head. You know what I mean? I'd rather go face first.
You protect yourself better.
I just don't understand how people how they have to be taught how to slide, like, or how to protect yourself. Like, dude, just dive really low.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing they're doing, they run out of the gun. They run the zone read scheme, and we ran a little bit of that. We ran this at Colgate exclusively, where you wouldn't read a defender, you would read the gap. So A gap, B gap, C gap, D gap. And whatever player showed in that gap was who you read. So the play he got hurt on, they actually were reading the 3 technique.
Okay.
The 3 technique closed.
So he kept
the running back. And the difference is when you run that type of scheme, there's called a hard pull and a soft pull. The soft pull is the typical zone read where you pull it and you run around the end and go.
Right.
The hard pull is when they tackle the running back, and now the quarterback basically replaces the running back. You're
following him. Yeah.
So that's I wouldn't have put him in that situation coming off a concussion protocol already. I thought that was dangerous to do. It's usually not a huddle call. It's usually a check on the line with who they're going to read, depending on the front you see or the blitz. So that was disappointing to see. But 6-year player Joe Figliano comes in, lights it up. He had a great game. You know, he's got 10 touchdowns on the year, 1 interception. And, you know, I wouldn't call it a quarterback controversy, but he can win you football games, hands down.
Agreed.
He can win you football games, hands down.
Yes, and I totally agree with that. I don't think there's a controversy. I just think it's a I truly believe, Steve, that it's just an opportunity for people to see that we have multiple talents at that position. I know they always say, well, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none.
You have none, right?
That's some BS, man. Look, it's great to have a great backup, hands down. especially if the backup is okay with being a backup. What I
Exactly.
mean by that is still competing, but you're not causing controversy within the team, in the locker room, all that kind of stuff.
You're
And what
supporting each other.
what I love about it is they are two different styles of quarterbacks.
Completely different. Yep.
So now teams have to truly prepare for two different styles. And what I truly believe, I remember talking to you after week one, after the Maryland game. What is our identity? Well, we're learning that we need to run the football and efficiently be a passing team efficiently. And I'll tell you what, that dude, Skylar Bell, he is a breakout son of a gun. And man, if Langston Hardy, I think his name is, on defense can keep doing what he's doing, bro, I think we have a nice little makeup going on for a nice little run here where we could potentially win 8, 9, maybe 10, maybe 10. You know,
Yeah. Burton said that too. This is the most wins that we've had in September in over a decade. So that's huge. This week's huge. Going into Temple, you beat Temple. Temple has struggled. They're 1-4, 1-3.
We've got to whoop them because my stepbrother's a Temple grad and a Temple fan. He keeps talking trash, and we got to whoop their tail just because of that.
Shove it up their ass. I totally agree. Totally agree.
There's so many other reasons why, but anyway, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're right. We need it. We need it because as Mike said, you know, we go into the bye week and then we have Wake Forest, and that's going to be the test, really, the measuring stick to see where we're at.
Very true.
And you know that's going to make the difference in the world because if you can compete, you know, Duke's 5-0 now. I mean,
dude, I was going to say that loss to Duke is not a bad loss.
Not at all. Not at all. If I hate, you know, the term obviously moral victory, but it was. I mean, it was a moral victory. They were down 17-0, and they managed to come back in the third quarter. They were a couple plays away from, you know, winning the game. I know they took the lead at one point. They could have won the game. They just didn't finish it out. But like we had talked about, 16 new players takes a while to mesh, and they're finally doing it.
Yeah,
and it's good to see.
I'll tell you this: these next 4 weeks are huge because everything's at home. We have Temple, Wake Forest is going to be huge at home. We have Rice. Rice is always going to be competitive. They have good teams, competitive teams. Georgia State, whatever, at home, UAB. Then we have Syracuse and UMass. You know what I mean? Like, we should beat UAB. Syracuse will be another kicker, man.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, Syracuse, I mean, similar. They have a new coach. Their coach has done a great job in recruiting, especially in Jersey. And Dave Schumann will tell you all about that. He's dominated Jersey recruiting. They overhauled their roster. They're having some success.
Oh, Dave says everybody out of Jersey is like the best. So.
Yeah, of course.
My man.
Jersey football. There's nobody.
We were talking about Shiano and Rutgers earlier. Oh man,
Shiano's
doing a great job, but I don't want to get too far off topic. But
no, he is. I mean, his second tour of duty. God bless him. I thought he was. I did think it was a dumb decision for him to go to the NFL when he did. He had everything he needed at Rutgers. He had a chance at the Ohio State head job. And unfortunately, the Sandusky thing came out, which was true or not true. It was 40 years ago. But that prevented him from getting that job. Rutgers took him back. And, you know, the Big Ten right now, it's open. It's wide open. I think Michigan's beatable. Penn State's Penn State. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat. They don't beat anyone really, impressive. Somebody beat Washington. I can't remember if it was Dion or not, but Washington lost, and that was a big win.
Wasn't that Rutgers that beat them?
Yeah, that's what it was. Rutgers beat them. Rutgers beat Washington, which was a huge win.
Week.
Yeah. Dave talked about that. That was huge for them.
Yeah.
So that's going to be different. And then the ACC, complete mess. Florida State's a disaster, and Syracuse really, with Fran Brown, they really have a chance to go in.
Yeah,
they don't play any of the juggernauts. I don't know if they play Miami or not. They don't play Clemson or Florida State. Syracuse could be in the ACC championship game.
Yeah,
they very well could be. They very well could be.
100%.
They had the one loss to Stanford, which was bad.
They lost. What was it? 2-point loss, and Stanford. Yeah, they shouldn't have lost to them, but they're sitting there at Syracuse 1-1 in the conference right now, but overall 3-1.
Right.
So they're not far behind anything.
Not at all.
Duke right now is like running the ACC.
5-0.
Yeah.
It's Duke and Miami.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you, I read an article in ESPN that said overall quarterback play is down. It's the worst that it's been since 2006. As far as completion percentage, yardage, rating, touchdowns, scoring. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's because of too many young quarterbacks just finding their way? Do you think it's coaching, maybe having too complex of schemes?
Yeah.
The article had said that they believe defenses have figured out how to stop the passing offense.
So and at the college level, or
no, the NFL I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Quarterback numbers are down across the board in the NFL. And I'm sorry, it wasn't on ESPN, it was on The Ringer. And they were saying it was because NFL defensive coordinators have figured out how to stop passing offenses. And because teams rarely play like a true 4-3. Teams play more of a 4-2. They have a nickel out there. They disguise coverage as well with 1 high, 2 high. You see some man, you see some quarters. I think that the article had said that this was a year that they played more man coverage than they have league-wide overall in a long time. So I think it's just teams have been drafting defensive backs. And they can play man coverage. And when you can, and I said this to Dave, because UConn was doing it, they were blitzing, but they were playing man behind it. They weren't playing like cover 33, 3 under, 3 deep, or 24. When you can play man and man press, I think that makes a huge difference. And the timing and the release of everything. But what were your thoughts on that, on knowing that quarterback play overall is down, and what do you think the reasoning is?
I would completely disagree with that entire article. Are you kidding me? You have JD here. Okay, there's a lot that goes into this and a lot to unpack.
He's going statistically. I'm not saying.
Yeah, that's somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about. Then, if you're going truly off statistics, if you just want to go, this statistic and that statistic, no, BS. Quarterback play is getting back up there. What we have seen since 2006 is this: you have a transition of a prototypical drop back passing type of style of play to now because this is how it always is. Defense is always ahead of the offense, right? Because here's what you can do on defense. One guy or two guys can screw up on defense, but as long as one man makes the play,
Can cover
nobody
for it.
knows anybody screwed up.
You're
But
absolutely
on
right.
offense, if the main man screws up, if the quarterback makes a bad read, or the center misses a block, or the wide receiver drops the ball, or
Dead in the
running
water.
back misses a blitz pickup, you're screwed. You're screwed. Like it's the end of it's over. So one guy screws up on offense, you're done. If one guy screws up on defense, quarterback
You
maybe
can recover.
the right side instead of the left side, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm going with all this. Where this whole thing is going and why guys like these quarterbacks that are coming in as rookies are now becoming successful is because these offenses now are curtailing the athletes, the linemen, the D-line, everybody is now becoming what the college game was. But it took about 10 years to 15 years for it to transition to it.
You mean like out of the shotgun running the spread stuff?
Yes, and running
Okay.
the RPOs and doing
Yes.
all that stuff. Everybody was like, oh my God, RPOs, that'll never work in the NFL. I'm like, yeah, well, you just need the right personnel.
Yeah.
And they finally got it. And as the linemen got faster and
More athletic. Yeah.
now you're able to do it. Same thing with the defense side of the football too. So yes, it's a tug of war, and sometimes defense wins, sometimes offense wins. And the thing with this, to your point, to your question, to that article, is that's a bunch of BS, bro. Like
I think the offenses will
play
catch up.
is awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Quarterback play is some of the best quarterback play it's been in a long time, man.
Yeah.
These guys are athletic. They
Yeah.
are making throws you need to make. It's what it is coaching, and the coaches understanding the athletes that they have, understanding how to get these athletes in space, understanding what kind of quarterback you have, understand what kind of offensive line you have, understand how you can best utilize these guys. It's no longer a tight end. No, it's more like a big receiver. You know what I mean? Like, and even like
Travis Kelce,
Metcalf over there in Seattle. He's like a small tight end.
Yeah, Metcalf. He's massive.
Some gun is he's 6'4", 255.
Yeah.
He's basically Travis Kelce size, but he runs a 4.4, 4.3. Kelce runs a 4.6. Like he's full of, man, that dude doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And I wish he would come on this show so we could discuss and debate. What's this guy's name, man? We need to call him out because we need to get him on
the ringer. I'll find out who wrote the article.
Because honest to God, we haven't had such great quarterback play in an early state. Look at Jaden Daniels. I mean, for instance, and last year's rookie, from the Texans, I think
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud. Dude, these guys are coming in lighting this joker up, man. Come on, man. Talk about bad quarterback play. Jared Goff, for instance, he's having a resurgence.
I love him, yeah.
Yeah, like what are we talking about right now? Now, where we are getting and going backwards in Philadelphia, hey, he's struggling up there right now because, and everybody knows he's lost confidence in himself. He lost his big guy up front, Travis Kelce, who was Jason Kelce, who was a great leader in the huddle. And I can tell you, Steve, you know this as well as anybody, being an offensive lineman, when an offensive lineman, especially the center, says to the quarterback, dude, I got you. Don't worry about it. That goes a long way. I'll handle these guys up front. You take care of what you need to. And that's what Jason Kelce seems to be to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a little bit out there, but in a good way.
Let me ask you this, since you brought it up, offensive line quarterbacks. There's two schools of thought, especially, with rookie quarterbacks as well. Do you like it as a quarterback to be able to set the protection yourself. You know, which side is going to be big on big, which side is going to slide? Or do you think the center should be making the call based on the front, you know, who they're picking up and identifying the linebackers so you know where the protection is? What do you prefer?
Going up originally, going up to the line, hey, look, center, you make the call, cool, I got it. But hey, if I see something rotating of safeties, rotation, and knowing that they've shown some things in film that we studied, and they're in a certain alignment, like hey, the 1-5 is to our slots. You know what I mean? Not to away from our tight end, and they've shown that they blitz, 60% of the time that way. If they rotate that way, I'm going to go ahead and override that. You know what I'm saying? So I love that the center can make the call, but I also want the center to know if I see safety rotation, I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, because it's my ass on the line.
Yeah.
I'm the one getting
100%.
knocked in.
You're taking the hit.
Yeah, I'm the one getting hit. So, and maybe they switch it up. So maybe we see things on film, and now they did something different, and he can't see it because they're in the A gap. They're running like double A gap blitz type of deal. Right. So he's squeezing that protection, but I'm like, I know they're not. I know those two are dropping out.
They're bluffing.
They're bringing a corner will fire type thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to slide it to that. You know what I mean? He's got to trust that I know that too, type of thing. So I love the fact if a center understands that and can communicate it, but at the end of the day, he can't see it all. That's why
the quarterback can
see it all. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's why you get paid the big bucks. You get paid the big bucks because you're the quarterback.
Yeah.
You got to be able to see the ball and produce.
Hopefully. See the ball. Be the ball. No.
Your thoughts on the New York Football Giants? The New York Football Giants played the Dallas Cowboys, and it wasn't a great game, but they lost. Daniel Jones looked better. Cowboys still don't look like the Cowboys should be looking. They don't look like they even care or try to run the football. They don't. They really don't. And they got Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, just try to run it, hand it off a few times. I mean, you can't expect every handoff to be a 40-yard touchdown run.
Just run.
That's just not reality. You got to have some balance. And that's what I love what Buffalo has done. Buffalo, when they switched coordinators and went to Joe Brady established the run. And they had one of the best rushing offenses in the league last year. Yeah. But the Giants just, man, do you think that Daniel Jones is going to figure it out, continue to develop, or do you think that he will develop, but Brian Daboll and Joe Shane, the general manager, will not be there to see it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know if they will be there to see it. I don't know what the Giants issue. The Giants have so many issues, dude. Like Daniel Jones, he's consistently average.
I think he's above average.
Yeah,
he's slightly above average.
Bad. He's not bad. He's not gonna necessarily lose you games all the time. But what he will do is he's a smart dude, Duke guy, all that kind of stuff. He's gonna get you in the right play, he's gonna do the right things, but he's not a guy that's gonna be capable of winning you a game. They need to figure out what they want to do, and they need to go hardcore into that thing, whether it's drafting offensive linemen, whether it's getting a defense again like they used to have back in the day. Dude, I don't know. They don't know. So
no, they don't. They don't know. And that's what's frustrating.
That's an interesting question, though, with that. I think Daniel Jones, if you surround him with enough talent,
Yeah.
that's anybody. But if you just give him something, again, identity. I'm a
He's
big guy of identity.
right.
They don't have one. They have
Right.
zero identity.
None. I mean, they've been doing well with Malik Neighbors. He's got a pretty good rapport with him.
He's
But
really good.
As far as an identity, they don't have one.
No. But how many games are you going to win? Just, hey, let's hope. Again, by week 8, 9, 10, they're going to be rolling coverages to Malik. Yeah. They're going to take him away.
Throw someone else.
Not good enough to beat double coverage. I'm sorry. He's not 6'5" and can jump 40 inches in the air.
Yeah.
Dude's crazy with his ability, but he's not that crazy.
No, I mean, he's still a rookie. And I think he's performed above expectations. I do think he's going to end up being better than Marvin Harrison Jr. for sure.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, I told you when I watched that Hard Knocks of the Giants before the draft, it just I wanted to pull my hair out because they didn't seem like they cared. It was just, there was no sense of urgency, no passion, no enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And just talking about Saquon just nonchalantly. It's like you're going to let the best offensive player you've had in the last 6 years just walk away over nothing really, like $1 million. I mean,
right.
He got a 3-year deal from Philly. And the Giants had franchised him for $12 million. And they could have matched Philly's offer. And Joe Shane was like, oh, no, go ahead. Go. We wish you well. And you bring in Devin Singletary. It's like, that'll get the fan base revved up. Like, blows my mind. Blows my mind. Completely blows my mind.
It should.
I'm
telling you, man, that cat, man, Neighbors, he's a stud. Singletary's good, no doubt about it.
Singletary is a good, I think, in a rotational situation.
Right.
He's not going to be the guy, but if you give him 12 to 14 carries and he has another back to supplement him, I think they would have a good running back room. But they just don't have that right now. And up front they've gotten better, but they're still struggling.
Yeah,
and it's just disappointing to see. I wanted to ask about your New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers. They had a tough game, a tough loss.
Wait, why New York Jets?
No, you like Rodgers. I know you like Rodgers.
I do like him. Yeah.
24-3 in the rain. Rodgers just couldn't get it going. His numbers were okay, but they lost 10-9, and they had 3 obvious red zone opportunities where they could have and should have scored, and they didn't.
That was a disgusting game.
It was ugly to watch.
Yeah,
it was completely ugly to watch.
It's like 1960s football.
It really was. It was boring. It was boring football. It was 6-0 at the half, and Rodgers ended up 24 of 42, 225 yards. And Brandon Allen, the running back, they didn't give Bryce Hall a lot of work. He had 34 yards rushing. So offensively, they really struggled.
Yeah.
Bo Nix, 12 of 25 for 60 yards. That's your winning quarterback. Wins the winning quarterback, Bo Nix. And
who would have bet on that?
He was in college for 14 years and 60 yards passing. He's winning games. He beats Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Did not see that coming. No. Should have been a gimme for the Jets, and they needed it because the AFC East is wide open with Miami losing Tua,
Yep.
Buffalo got smoked.
Yep.
New England's New England.
Yep.
And the Jets.
Well, not the old New England. They're the new England.
The New England, whatever. Whatever you want to call New England. Yeah, the New England. The Gerard Mayo, who's never been a head coach. We're just going to give him the job and say you're the guy.
Let's give him the job.
Yeah, I'm a great guy.
I was going to say, we're good guys. Why can't
I'll submit my resume, and you can be the head coach. I'll be your line coach,
or vice versa.
No, I couldn't be a head coach. I can't be a head coach. I can't delegate. I just, and I'm lazy. We'd be out of the office by 7 p.m. every night.
Time, work management, work management,
work-life balance. Absolutely. Very important.
Trying to give us opportunity. Anyway, I'm sorry, bro.
No, I agree with you. The work-life balance. 100%.
Work-life management, bro.
The other news, what do you think is wrong with Jacksonville? The Jacksonville Jaguars, clearly favorites of the AFC South. They are now 0-4.
Hey, can I real quick? I got to go back to, since you brought the Jets up. Don't hesitate. I don't want you to stop on that where you're going with Jacksonville. But bro, I cannot believe, and I know I text you in this our pre-production. I don't know what you want to call it, but I sent you. We got to talk about this. You mean to tell me that the offensive line cannot pick up on Aaron Rodgers' cadence? Are you kidding me?
That's the most absurd thing I ever heard.
That's the most absurd.
I can't believe they made it. They put it in the media, which was.
And I love that Aaron said, "Well, that's one way of handling it." Like the way he said,
that's his personality.
True. That's one way of handling it. Or the other one is holding people accountable. Yeah. I remember when I was at UConn, I can remember in many different places, I'm like, hey, we got to switch up the snap count a little bit. People are timing it up, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know if we can handle it. What do you mean?
Yeah.
We're close. What are you talking about? We meet for hours upon hours a day. And
we do.
Handle. So I can't, I remember when I was in NFL Europe, so white and blue were our pass audibles, green and brown were our run audibles. We tried to make it simple as possible because green and brown, obviously the grass is green and dirt's brown and the sky is blue and white, right?
I like that. So I like that.
That was a simple way. So I could give multiple different things there's so many ways to go about it. And I'm sure Aaron Rodgers has a lot more complex ways. And you can go on second sound after green. You can go on whatever. So you can go through the whole cadence. And people wonder about this. And Peyton Manning went through all this stuff. Everybody always makes fun of him. Hell, they made a commercial about it.
Omaha.
Yeah. So nobody knows to this day what Omaha means. They know it's a place in Nebraska.
I know what Omaha means.
Do you?
I do.
What is it?
We ran Omaha.
What is Omaha?
Omaha means that the center can snap the ball whenever he wants. The quarterback will make all his checks, blue, green, red, right, whatever.
So when he says
Omaha, that means the center can snap it whenever he's ready.
Nice.
Yeah, because we did that. We did that too.
Does that mean that every time?
You don't have to do it every time. You can say it's on Omaha.
Yeah.
But it's up to you.
Because I remember when I was with the Bucks, we would give a false cadence.
We did that too.
Yeah. And I was curious because I wanted to ask you about that, about false cadence and different things and
drove me nuts.
Yeah, but if you pay attention, I mean, that's our job.
You need it. Yeah, you need it.
Definitely. These defensive linemen are too damn fast.
They just get off the ball.
Aggressive.
They just.
And I'm trying to. I love it when after I get hit and an offensive lineman comes to me on the sideline and says, "Hey, you need to change the snap count up. I was like, I would love to, but we can't get it right.
Yeah, we're gonna get 5 yards. We're gonna get a 5 yard penalty because someone's gonna jump offside.
So that's the thing, though, man. It's something that we all need to get on the same page with, and whether it's on the second or third or whatever, Omaha or whatever it is, I remember trying to tell Skip. I said, Coach, man, why can't we just use, because black was always our color, to check. But
yeah,
I
that's what
never
everyone uses. Black.
I can never slide. I can never do 900 protection.
Right.
Like I couldn't say it in the cadence because guys would get confused. So even if I said just blue 900 and it was a power or an ISO, dudes are blocking 900. I'm like, why? I didn't say black. You know what I mean? Like it baffles me. But the days now are different. I think some of the smartest people, hands down, are offensive linemen, without a doubt, on the football field. Those
they
are
have to be,
people, man.
They have to be
the toughest and intelligent. Y'all communicate like nobody else. It's truly awesome to watch how y'all communicate and work things out, and being as big as you are and taking the abuse you take. It's fascinating. But I was curious about that myself. Moving forward, though.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. The communication is key up front. Knowing when you run the ball, what linebackers you're working to. Knowing, old school offensive line coaches used to have a count system. So you'd actually count the number of guys 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3 to a side, and that would tell you who you'd work to the first linebacker or the second linebacker, or you'd work to the safety. I always liked full zoning everything. I didn't like a count. I didn't like true double teams, because I just didn't think every defense we played moved so much that you couldn't afford to, for the center to hang back on a backside A-gap nose. And
you got to stay on your track.
Yeah. He couldn't afford to give you a lot for the backside guard to come take him over and get a true double team up. You could on the gap scheme stuff, on power and counter, you can. But zone, you couldn't do it. Zone, I just like to just take your zone step, block what shows, work your way up. Call it a day. Let's not make it complicated.
Let the running back make his cut off of his track that he's taking.
And that's the one thing UConn's done very, very well. They have 2 running backs at over 300 yards. They have another running back at 280. And they have 1,200 yards rushing.
That's pretty impressive
in 5 games.
That's pretty impressive.
It's very impressive. Yeah. And if just the quarterback situation gets figured out with Joe and what they're going to do, we'll see. Your thoughts on Buffalo?
Yeah.
Buffalo goes and Buffalo just gets destroyed. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Everyone thought Josh Allen, was the savior, and he had a rough game, and the team had a rough game, and Baltimore hasn't been lighting the world on fire. They're 2-2. They got their second win. I think it's because of Derrick Henry really came alive. He rushed for 181 yards. But 35-10. Your thoughts on Buffalo, Josh Allen, and Buffalo? Are they still the contenders in the AFC East?
I think Buffalo, yes. I think they are extremely competitive in the AFC East, without a doubt. Like you were saying earlier, the AFC East is wide open. I mean, the Jets have a chance to win it. Buffalo still should be king. The Patriots, who knows what you're going to get out of them now? Jose Mayo and stuff, and
Gerard Mayo.
him a sandwich. I know, I'm just kidding. Just trying to have some fun here.
No, it is funny because I would have never hired him. I would never hired him.
Yeah,
you're gonna hire Gerard Mayo to replace Bill Belichick? Like, really?
Right.
You want to set the guy up for failure?
Yeah. So, and then Miami, they're in craziness going on right now. With they get pulled over before they come to the game.
Yes.
So, you obviously don't have discipline there. Everybody said that
he didn't want to roll his window down. He didn't want to roll his window down.
Honestly, you gonna knock on my window? You're knocking on my window?
I didn't know that if a cop gave you an order, it was optional to follow it. I didn't know you had an option.
Yeah, I didn't think it was okay to question him and say,
"Yeah, that's what I said."
You're knocking on my window, because I want you to roll it down.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. You want to roll his window down?
Completely tinted, and all he had to do was roll his window down, say, "Hey, I'm getting to my game. I'm sorry. Won't happen again. Let's move on." Wouldn't have been an incident. But
100%.
Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation, dude.
All he had to show, I mean, the Dolphins players all have IDs. I mean, he could have just stuck his Dolphins ID out the window, and that would have been the end of it.
Bro, that is it, man. So,
but he's not the best person in the world. I mean, he beat his pregnant wife. So
I think he already showed that live on TV. Yes, hell of an athlete. But
he can make plays.
Yeah, he makes plays. But anyway, getting back to the Bills, man, getting back on track. Boy, oh boy, squirrel. No, but I don't think Buffalo, their defense, their secondary needs to get better in Buffalo.
Yep. They've had a lot of injuries. Yep.
Yeah, I think if they can get better secondary wise, I think they'll get back defensively to where they need to be. I'm not worried about Josh Allen. I think right now he's sometimes trying to do too much, a little bit here and there. I am not worried about Buffalo. I think they're going to be just fine. I still see them winning the AFCs. I really do. Unless catastrophic injuries or whatever, knock on wood. But
I agree.
Yeah, so that's where I stand with that, man. Josh Allen is too good of an athlete, too great of a quarterback, and just a great winner. Like, he's shown time and time again he can win. Now, he does need to win that big game in the playoffs, but are they going to miss the playoffs this year? I highly doubt that.
No. The question I wanted to get back to was the Jacksonville Football Jaguars. They lost.
They have a football team down there? Oh, my bad.
24-20. Trevor Lawrence. It still annoys me that they pay these quarterbacks early now, 3 years into basically a 5-year deal, because it's a 4-year deal with an option for a fifth. So they didn't have to pay him. But they pay him because they think they're going to get a discount if they do it now as opposed to waiting, and it'll be a higher rate. So they paid Trevor Lawrence, and he has been a disaster this year. And I think they have an 8-game losing streak going back to last year or whatever, from the playoffs. What do you think about Jacksonville? Trevor Lawrence, and then Doug Peterson. Is he on the hot seat? Do they make a move? Because Shadid Khan doesn't have the most patience in the world. He did hire Urban Meyer. So, what do you think?
Well, I think the owner. I don't even want to try and pronounce his name because I'll say Shadid cannot do anything right.
Yeah.
Oh, I just said that.
That's accurate.
That was his name. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Shad. It's Shad. People call him
Shad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, his name is Shadid, but the nickname they call him Shad.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything personal. You know, I just was trying to read it. I don't know how to say that stuff. I'm sorry.
I don't either. I mispronounce everything.
Oh gosh, I'm such a jerk. Anyway, moving forward with this stuff. What I'm trying to say is this. Stop trying to jump on the new hot thing. Okay, these people with all this money, they get caught up in trying to just buy like the hottest car. And right now, or back then, Trevor Lawrence was the hottest car. What are you doing, bro? You need to, he doesn't understand how to build a football team. He doesn't understand how to build a football culture. So, what you need to do is you need to go to Robert Kraft. What you need to do is you need to go to other places, go to San Francisco. I would say go to Green Bay, but they're, obviously a public team kind of a deal. But go to their ownership. Go to the places that have won.
Yeah.
Even go to Dallas, for crying out loud. Learn how to build a team. You cannot win nowadays by paying a quarterback within the first 5 years. You just can't. You can't.
Eat too much of the salary cap. Yeah.
Go to Kansas City and learn how they did it. You know what I'm saying? Like go to and he's just like setting himself up for failure. And that's why you have successful I don't want to say programs because that's like college.
Well, they do say programs in the NFL. We run a program.
But you know what I'm saying though, Steve. Like it's he's setting himself up for failure, bro.
But do you think Trevor Lawrence
and you're putting too much money in on the wrong, you know what I mean? Like it's you're doing it ass backwards.
Do you think Trevor Lawrence though is the guy? Do you think he'll eventually figure it out and be a playoff quarterback or win a Super Bowl?
I don't. I used to love Trevor Lawrence, but ever since he came out and said what he said, and understanding that mentality of him, where he's like, he doesn't love football, but he really enjoys it. You can't do that.
I hate when I hear that. Yeah,
you're all in.
Well, it's so disrespectful.
Yeah, you're all in or you're not. You can't do that's like. I hate comparing football to the military, but it is very similar from a chemistry and a brotherhood standpoint. 100%. It's a brotherhood. And if that dude next to you, you can't count on him, man, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Like, I just knocked everything over. I'm so upset by that.
That's okay. I'm upset too. It's okay.
But not upset, but like I'm adamant about this. Like, dude,
I agree with you.
You're the team, bro. And yeah, you're physically gifted. You're strong. Yeah, you may go in the weight room to work out and you may show up on time. But if you don't show that passion, you don't show that you love this, you don't show that you care, you don't show that you'll truly put your life on the line for your teammates, especially at the quarterback position.
And he needs to cut his hair.
Offensive lineman guys are doing it for you every day, and you wear a red jersey, bro, you got problems.
He's got to cut his hair too. I don't like the long hair.
I agree. Braid it. Do something.
Do something with the long hair.
I
do. The long hair bothers me. He looks like he's in a commercial for one of those shampoo companies. Something like that. Something exactly like that. So I will go to your Philadelphia Eagles and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There was a mild tension before the game between Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield. Baker said that the feel around the locker room is a lot less pressure and stressful because Brady, brought a little stress with him and had the guys playing a little stiff and worried. And Baker has kind of let loose a little bit. Brady did not take kindly to those comments either. and fired right back at him. He was like, "Well, sorry, I was trying to win a Super Bowl." Basically saying Brady or Baker, when you win a Super Bowl, then you can say something. As a Eagles, you're by the Eagles. What were your thoughts on this? Because it was a tough loss for the Eagles. I agree with you about Jalen Hurts. His confidence is shot. Shane Stetson, the head coach, maybe on borrowed time.
Oh, Sirianni.
Nick Sirianni, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Shane
Sirianni,
Stetson, the Indianapolis guy.
Yep.
Sirianni maybe on borrowed time. Jalen Hurts is regressing, in my opinion. What do you think's going on there? And what did you think of the Baker Mayfield, Tom Brady comments?
I think Tom Brady did in what he should have done, and he pissed on his fire hydrant. And he said, "Look, brother, until you win 6, 7, 8 championships, then you can criticize somebody that's done it. Do you?" But I will say this. I think so. What's his name? God, dog. What's the quarterback's name? Concussions are a son of a gun. The quarterback.
Jalen Hurts.
No, the quarterback from Tampa.
Baker.
Thank you.
Baker.
So
Mayfield.
anyway, concussions are a son of a gun.
They are.
That's like what's that? Charlie Murphy. Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
It is.
But,
and it is
a hell of an injury. Anyway, I forget names really quickly. Point is this: where I'm going, dude, Steve. Number one, I don't think Baker truly meant it that way. I think what he was, you know what? No, he said what he said. You're a moron. Don't ever disrespect the GOAT. Point blank, period. And I think the GOAT did the right thing by confronting him and saying, dude, what are you talking about, bro?
Sorry.
Until you even get into an NFL Super Bowl, what are you talking about, dude? Yeah. I built this. I went from New England, built a championship franchise, came down here,
won a Super
built
Bowl,
another championship franchise, taught people how to win. So, yeah, might have been a little tense at times.
Yeah.
As it should have been. You need to be on pins and needles at times. If we lose 4 straight or 3 straight or 2 straight, hell, we lose 2 straight, I'm stressing, bro. I am cussing people out. Just me. Like, I'm not trying to lose 3. You know,
and he would. And he would. He'd wear it on his sleeve.
Yeah, 100%. No doubt. I think the way Tom handled that, I think was truly how you should. I think the way, Baker, I'm a big Baker Mayfield fan. I loved him out of Oklahoma. I thought he got shit canned kind of. I know I shouldn't be cursing, but I apologize.
No, he did in Cleveland.
In Cleveland, I thought he kind of got, kind of screwed over a little bit there. But Baker, dude, follow the game plan, bro. Shut your mouth, work hard. You can still have fun, but when it's time to work, hey, it's time to work. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I always try to preach. Look, we can have fun, we can laugh, but hey, when it's time to get it done, man, we got to be locked in, laser focused. I don't want to hear no BS. Let's go. Like, let's ride. And so I think that whole thing, I think it'll help Baker grow as a young professional. And I think Tom handled it the right way, man.
All right. We will take our quick break here before we finish off on Steve Cully's Festivus of Sports on the Studio 25 Podcast Network. Thank you, Dave Warner and Creative Outpost.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
All right, we are back on Steve Cully's Festivus of Sports. Festivus of Sports on the Studio 25 Podcast Network. And with me, as always, Shane Stafford, legendary UConn football quarterback. The last two questions I had wanted to ask you were basically, again, about the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings go and they beat the Packers. Sam Darnold turns it on again. 3 touchdowns. Sam Darnold for real. They have a 2-game lead now in the NFC North. And it's been very rare for teams to give up a 2-game lead and lose the division. Do you think the Vikings can ride Sam Darnold to an NFC North title or at least a playoff appearance?
Playoff appearance, I do. NFC title, I'm not sure. I think
NFC North title.
Yeah, NFC North. I'm sorry. NFC
you think Green
North
Bay
title.
could still slide in?
There's 3 teams there that are pretty dang good, and that's going to be a tough conference. They're going to, I think, or a division. I think they're going to get 2 teams in the playoffs. Potentially,
they could get 3. Yeah, but
potentially 3. Sure. But I think they're going to get 2. Should get 2. I don't know, man. It's going to be.
I'm happy for him though.
Yeah, I am too. I was a big Sam Darnold fan coming out of USC, like I said. I don't know if it was on this show or if it was on Dave's podcast, but I've always been a Sam Darnold fan. I love his base, his footwork.
You did say that.
At times can be a little frustrating with him. But I think at times it's because since he's been in the NFL, he's always been on terrible teams and tried to have to do too much. Now he's got a hella team around him. Defense is really good. Yeah. So I am curious to see how he gets through this. It's early in the year. Yep. He's we're 4 games in. Yep. Yeah. So are they going to win it? It's a little too early to tell. Ask me this. I mean, if you want me to be bold and make a prediction, I would say son of a gun. I don't know.
I don't think they will. I think Detroit will win it.
I truly think Detroit's going to win that division, but then it's going to come between I think it's going to come between Minnesota and Green Bay on who's fighting for that second playoff spot. So do I think they can? Yes, without a doubt. I think with their defense, Green Bay, though, with that home field advantage, in Lambeau, man, there's so many things that can happen.
Variables, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to watch and see that, as Boomer used to say, the NFC Norris.
Yes.
That's when Tampa used to be up there too.
I know. That's right.
I hope it gets down to that.
I do too. And I'm happy for him because I have always said this since NFL Europe folded, quarterbacks get run out of the league way too fast. I think having that developmental system was key and critical for quarterbacks and their development and their success, because they need reps. And going to mini camp and not getting the reps isn't helping them. Going over to Europe and playing 10 games, that's going to help them. And losing that, and I hope that the NFL ends up making some sort of a deal with the XFL, UFL. They're combined now as a developmental league. Now, my co-host from my other show, the political show you watched last night, Frank.
Frank, what's his? Well, I love his nickname, Frank.
He's the voice of reason. He's
the voice of reason. That's an awesome name.
Yes, because Frank firmly believes that the NFL should have a developmental league that runs parallel to the NFL season. He thinks it should run in the fall, not in the spring. So if somebody gets hurt, now you have somebody already in game shape, ready-made, that can come up to your roster, whoever it may be.
I'd love to have this discussion with Frank.
That's his feeling. He says they should run it just like Major League Baseball does during the season. So injuries happen, guys get called up instead of getting called off the couch. That was his main feeling. And
he doesn't understand how physical football is. Then
he does, but I think like if they played on Wednesday nights or whatever, they played on some odd night.
So how are you going to create money and pay for these guys?
Well, the NFL pays for it. The NFL, it's a NFL developmental league. NFL Europe costs the NFL $1 million per team.
Right. Well, what? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The owners put in $1 million.
It's a drop in the bucket.
Right. But at the same time, it wasn't a complete loss, because they would actually get, people to the game, merchandise sales.
Oh, huge.
Granted, we had to travel, and that was expensive. So maybe he's on to something. I'm just telling you this. I don't mind. I need to let you finish, and then I'm gonna.
I was just curious.
Hank's theory.
I was just curious about that. But the last question I wanted to ask you was, Kansas City comes out with a win, 17-10. They have not looked like the same Kansas City of old, but they're 3-1 or 4-0.
Still winning.
That's the thing. They're still winning. There's allegedly drama between Taylor Swift and Brittney Mahomes, which has caused a rift between Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. People think Travis has been distracted, and that's why he hasn't been playing well this season. And I think he definitely shut his critics up last week. He had a great game. He had a lot of catches. He had yards. He blocked well. I mean, he did the job. And the whole rift started because Brittney came out and loudly supported Kamala, which or Taylor supported Kamala, which Brittney did not appreciate. And there's been a rift ever since. And I can tell from Travis's body language, if you watch him on the field, you don't see that exuberance. You don't see him having fun. You don't see him dancing. You don't see him doing all the stuff that he used to do. And he says it's frustration because he isn't playing well and the team isn't playing well. Other people think it's because of the relationship with Taylor could possibly be ending, and the dissension that it's caused between Patrick Mahomes and Brittney Mahomes. So I was going to ask you, what did you think about that entire situation? There's a lot there to unpack.
No doubt. Here's what I will say. Being, a part of a team at a level where we got paid good money playing arena at the time, wives/girlfriends, they can potentially, if you don't handle them correctly, and I don't mean that negatively towards women, not handling.
No, I know. They can cause a little drama.
But, if somebody watches, they're gonna be like, "Oh, Shane, you're a
Shane, it's in Central New York. You don't have to worry. You can say whatever you want. No one's coming to get you in Delaware."
But my point is this, though. Honestly, if you can't separate business and personal, that's a problem. And
yes,
I don't think that Patrick and Kelce are at that point. I think they can separate those two. Now, off the field, are they, buddies? Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe they used to be. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I'm not in that locker room. I don't know. But one thing I do know, personally, I was able to separate that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And if you're a champion and you should be able to handle that stuff and separate that stuff. If not, the team will see it, and we will see it as viewers because that team will go down. Those are the top two leaders of that team. And I think Andy Reid has so much personal experience going through personal things with his son.
With his own kids,
Yes. So I think he'll be able to step in there, nip it in the bud. They'll be just fine. Whatever's going on, hey, let the chicks handle it. Let them do what they do. Come on, man. Are you serious?
I mean, did you notice it, though? Did you notice Kelce at all? Like, because I noticed his behavior on the field, like his body language, like he wasn't dancing and having fun like he always would.
Why are we assuming now that it's because of that scenario?
That's true.
Just because it's been reported?
That's true.
Maybe he's going through something personally outside. Maybe his brother is going through something. Maybe his mom. You know what I'm saying? We don't know those things. You know how it is, Steve. Unless you're in the locker room.
Speculation. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Rumor and innuendo
for people to gossip on, and it's an election year and all that kind of thing. I will never ever get roped into that stuff. I think it's BS, and I can't stand when these tabloids come out and they try and say, "Oh yeah, this is why it's happening." Okay, maybe you're right, but probably not. And if you are, God bless you. But I would like to think the 6 years that they've spent together, or 5 years they've spent together, is a much stronger bond and the championships they won together is a much stronger bond than some BS that is going on around right now. Like, think about Brady and Gronkowski. Come on, man. They try to create rumors about all that stuff. Think about Brady and this just needs to be nipped in the bud. Brady and the other tight end that they had that was murdering people. Hernandez. Yeah, God rest. I mean, obviously his brother played at UConn and DJ. I respect that and I love that man so much.
Jonathan's a great guy.
DJ's an awesome guy, and I don't mean to bring him up in a negative way. I truly, DJ. Respect
there isn't a better person, believe me.
He's an awesome, awesome dude. But where I'm going with this is, man, you can make up whatever you want to make up.
You can. You're right. You can create any narrative you want for why it's happening.
I'm not fighting on that stuff.
I agree with you on that. You can create any narrative. Now, will you be able to get up, you think, to a game this year at UConn? Do you think you get to homecoming on the 26th? Do you think you can get up there some point? October.
Yeah.
Okay. Good,
I'm going to write that down and see if I can get up there. Hell, if I got to take a train, I'm going to try and get up there for it.
No, the 26th. Yeah, if you can go, that's homecoming. I know a lot of guys are going to that. Burton is going to the Syracuse game when they play at Syracuse, and I would go to that if you wanted to go. If you want to get a train up here, I'll pick you up. I'll take you to Syracuse. That's always fun. But yeah, you're more than welcome to. I think they're turning things around. The stadium's getting fuller. It's going to be huge to get into a conference. And what Mike's doing with Bleeding Blue for Good and Store Central is paying off. And I think people are seeing that. You're seeing the talent level. You're seeing Skylar Bell. You're seeing TJ Sheffield, Cam Edwards, Nick Evers when he figures out how to slide properly. Defensively, and they got 2 good tackles up front. Yeah. And Mike, I mean, God bless him for the work he's done, like the business side of it.
Amazing.
Like, he said, like, during the bye week, he's going to sit down with Mora, and they're going to go over projections for next year. Who's going to stay, who's going to go, who's staying, and who's going to want more money, and how much more can they give them, and how much more can they raise. And it's like, because that's what he said to me. He's like, he was thinking about it, and he's like, holy shit, I'm gonna have to do this every year. I'm gonna raise this kind of money every year. And there's teams like Ohio State and Georgia that raise $30 million every year. And he had to fight tooth and nail to bring in 1.5. So I get it. And that's the one thing I told him from doing the podcast, the Husky Talk, was our alumni base. We have a strong, successful alumni base that I did not know about. Like I didn't know our alumni were as successful as some of them have been.
Oh, some of us, yeah,
have done really well. I didn't know. I really didn't know. Because half the guys were majoring in HDFS, which was graduation, majoring in graduation, or poli-sci or sociology or something.
Right.
So I didn't know. And, that's Phil Hunt. His one vision is trying to develop alumni engagement where student athletes, when they graduate, they're paired with an alumni in the industry that they want to work in, and they have a job. So I hope that we get that going and we get that developed. Store Central, Bleeding Blue for Good, is working out. We got to find a way to monetize it more. I think doing alumni events and being able to give back, the donors are great, but if they want the bigger donors and the donations, they have to have some sort of incentive to give. You give and you get something in return.
Sure.
That will make them want to do it. So that is our hope. So you made it through another episode.
Brother, we got to figure this out, man. Let's go.
Festivus of Sports. First time live. Great job. I've never run a live show before. It's going to be interesting to see how we do and see what great comments we get. And if everyone makes fun of us, I'll be sure to tell you.
That's even better.
Yeah, it is. I love it. Just like Rebel Republic.
Means they're interacting. They're watching.
They are. So for quarterback, UConn legend Shane Stafford, myself, Steve Cully, the best podcast and radio host in the universe, on the Studio 25 Podcast Network, Creative Outpost. Sorry, Dave.
We are live.
Yep, Dave Warner, don't fire me. We love you, Dave. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life.